what are the risks to the economic security for elders going forward from today, if not the trust fund? One is clearly moves to privatize the Social Security its administration, Social Security benefits, and to shift the public domain, the public sector parts of our retirement system entirely into the private sector, where we've already seen that we've had a recession that has caused all of us and many of us in the United States who had investments to lose significant amounts of money, where thousands and thousands of elders who thought they were safe and thought they had good security in their retirement because they had mutual funds and because they were invested in stocks and other instruments, who lost millions during that recession, don't have that security anymore. And so that we see that the risk of the private sector is really greater than the risk of Social Security. And shifting entirely to private sector investments and savings that provide low returns really stand us over the long run to have a Social Security system that, don't forget, is very similar to the kind of Social Security system we had during the 1920s and 1930s before Social Security came around. We depended entirely on the private sector to provide support in retirement, and it didn't work. It just didn't work, and it won't work again if we try this. The second threat is really that what's happening to the distribution of wealth in the United States. Even during the recession, we're a nation that has continued to be the most wealthy nation on the face of the planet. We've continued to see wealth in the United States grow even during the recession that we've had. The problem is that we used to distribute growth and wealth much more equitably than we are today, and that we have over the past decade and a half in reality. So that what's happening in the United States is when we create new wealth, much more of that wealth, over 90%, is being distributed to the upper 2% of those in the American economy who currently hold wealth, and much, much less to the vast numbers of us in the middle class who receive a much smaller proportion, if any, of the product of new wealth. So that the skewness in the distribution of wealth makes it much more difficult for us to have economic security from day to day today, and certainly much more difficult to put aside retirement benefits through private vehicles for the future. So given what we're facing today, and given the recession that we're coming off of and the state of the economy for older people and its effects on all older people in the United States, particularly those of us in the large middle class, what can we do to protect ourselves and to secure economic security and to attain economic security now and in the future? One of the first things that we really have to focus on is not being led astray by needs to make major changes to the Social Security Act and to Medicare. The elimination or major changes in those two things, and Medicare and Social Security, will really have serious long-term consequences over the economics and harmful consequences for the economic security of older people in the United States. Secondly, don't be really led astray by these notions that any particular act or any particular changes, like those proposed in the Ryan budget bill that was recently voted on and passed in the House of Representatives, defeated in the Senate, that when we change Social Security, we're only going to change it for people who are not yet 65 and not yet collecting Social Security. That we're going to make changes in the system of Medicare and Social Security for people who are 50 or 55 and younger. People who are 55 and younger also need a solid base for Social Security, and people who are 55 and younger will face the same difficulties in trying to create a safe and secure economic future for them when they turn 65 than all the rest of us happen. Economies are not going to stop having downturns over time. People who are currently in their 50s and their efforts to save from retirement now have been interrupted both by the recession and the losses that it caused to them in their savings and pension funds, as well as the difficulty to obtain work today. So they're being hit. If we say that we're going to take Social Security away from them and change it, or take Medicare and make it a voucher system, then we're increasing significantly the chance that they'll spend their lives, their elderly lives, really in poverty, or having very, very difficult times to get by. So it's important that we protect Social Security not only for those of us who are over 65 today, but also for the generations that come behind us. That's an important thing for me, and I think it's an important thing for all people 65, that we're not going to be fooled by intergenerational divisions about how we should have security, about how our economic security should look as we age. We're not going to be fooled by that at all. We really will stand together across generations. I had a granddaughter who was born as I was preparing a talk about Social Security and the future of Social Security. And I was giving the talk really 4 days after she was born. And I received my first picture of her. And I saw that, and I asked myself, do I want her to grow up knowing that she has, at least when she reaches the age that I am now, a guarantee that she will have health insurance to help get her through her older age, like Medicare, one that she can count on and one that we know we can count on, or like Social Security that will be there? Or do I want her to grow up having the risk of an entirely privatized retirement system and healthcare system that could be there or not when she turns my age? I think it's clear to me that I want her to have the security that Social Security and Medicare provide to me. And that's the best way for us to ensure now that not only us, but our sons and our daughters and our grandchildren will be able to have this, at least the same kind of economic security in old age that we do.